Welcome back to the Insider. We're still here with Kun Bill, Mr. William Elwood Heineke, Chairman of Miner International. We were talking about the way he do business in Thailand. We were talking about stability in Thailand, and we will continue discuss with him or talk with him. See you again, Kun Bill. And of course, by seeing you, I don't want to get you involved into politics, but there's one question that I cannot resist my temptation to ask you. Ask you about an open letter. On June last year, I suppose, you have written a letter, you wrote a letter to the foreign ambassador to Thailand and the international media about what's going on in Thailand. Why? Why did you write that letter?
I think that it was important that people recognize the difficulty that Thailand had been in and the roadmap that had been outlined by this government to try to correct that situation. And I feel that we were being penalized unfairly. People were talking about the dangers of traveling to Thailand. There was never any danger traveling to Thailand. I felt that this was being wrongly portrayed by the foreign media and even by some of the embassies who felt obligated to provide travel warnings because for them they had never seen a military government for some time. So for them it required that they had to issue travel warnings. But I felt they were issuing these without thinking of what was the rationale behind them. You know, what was important not only to Thai people, but also important to foreign business that operates in Thailand is stability, you know, to be able to get on with business. And that was being harmed at that time by, again, this perception that was being presented that Thailand was not safe to visit, it was not safe to do business in. But in actual fact, the policies of Thailand have never changed, in spite of many government changes that we've had over the years. And the continuity that we've seen has always been the underlying strength of Thailand. So I felt that it was necessary to try to get everyone to look a little more closely at the real situation here. And it was not as bad as it was being portrayed by foreign media and by embassies. You know, the private sector and the public sector have to work together. And both the foreign media and the foreign embassies have to also take a responsibility, because when you portray or you present a wrong image to the world, then it's the people of Thailand that suffer. And we're an interconnected world today, and it's important that Thailand prospers in order that the world prospers. We're all interconnected. You know, it's just all within ASEAN, and then ASEAN with the rest of the world, with the EU. And so to just not recognize a government or someone who takes steps to bring about stability, I think is the wrong impression.
So I assume that you try to create a better understanding within the international community. What do you see? Is your letter serve the purpose? It is work? It is able to provide a better understanding?
I think we challenged the embassies to look at their travel warnings, which I felt were unfairly placed. I think we forced the media to truly look at what was going on. People were operating normally, traffic was operating normally, and Thailand was going about business once again. But it had stopped for a while. And what happens when things stop is sometimes people forget when they get moving again. And so when things recovered and as Thailand began to move again, many people didn't recognize that. And I felt that it was important that we have to recognize the positive aspects. It's easy to pick on negatives, but sometimes you have to stand back and say, isn't there more positive things happening than negative things?
Well, thank you thank you on behalf of the Thai people. I can feel that you have the love for Thailand, you have the love for the country, you have the love for the people of Thailand. And do you think, until now, do you have to write another letter?
I think part of the problem today is now what's happening in the world. The economy, as we touched on, is suffering many headwinds from around the world. And this is going to affect Thailand. We are not immune just because we have an incredible workforce, we have an incredible country, but we're not immune to what's happening in China, what's happening in the EU, and what's happening in the rest of the world. Even Singapore is going through a technical recession right now. How can we not recognize that we also are facing the same challenges? You know, we employ about 55,000 people, and I tell our people that we all face the same challenges in this world, but it's how we react to those challenges that makes us different. So we try to often react very quickly to the changing environment that we see going on around us, and that's helped us to be successful. Some people are a bit slower to recognize these changes, and therefore they suffer. So I guess with us, we try very hard to keep our team and our people very focused on these challenges that are going on all around the world. And if we're going to be successful, we're going to have to accept the challenges as they are. We can't change them.
Seems to me that you are the real insider of what happened in Thailand. And of course, it is obviously that you understand. You have a real understanding of what happened in Thailand. Would you mind helping me, helping Thailand? What is your message to the foreigner?
I think my message to foreigners really is to study the history of Thailand. Look at the long picture, you might say, over the many, many years that Thailand has gone through incredible challenges. But it's always come out on top. It's always come out stronger after periods of difficulty. So if you look at that and you study history, then you will have the same confidence that I have in why Thailand will come out stronger and in a better position than it ever had before.
And the very important question, what is your message to the Thai people?
That's a difficult one because, you know, Thai people are very impatient. Everybody wants things to happen quickly. But, you know, in this world, sometimes you have to be extremely patient, you know. When I look back on our companies, we've been very successful and because we've had incredibly good staff and people that have worked with our company. But it's taken, you know, close to 50 years. That's not a short period of time. And so, you know, you have to be patient. You can't expect everything to change overnight. It takes time. But during that time, we must work together. And I think the cooperation that's needed between the private sector, the public sector, the foreign community is critical to our success. So we have to work together.
Well, talking about working together, and of course, right now, government is working very hard. And of course, the government mentioned or said that we have a clear roadmap in moving the country forward. What would be your comment on the government roadmap?
I think they have to stay focused on it. You know, understand that it's not all within the power of this government to change the world economy. So we have these challenges right now, and so we have to ride through them. And I think the government can continue to remain focused on infrastructure. Again, all of the points that we touched on, providing the environment where business can do well. You know, sometimes what business wants is the least amount of government control. You know, and I think that's one thing which the government has also recognized. They recognize, I think, that the private sector has to be the driver. And the private sector very often just wants to get on with business. And for that, they need stability. And we have stability. Now it's up to us to deliver some results.
Well, the next question would be perhaps out of the context that we are talking about, but it is a hot issue at the moment. The government has started a lot of reform, and the key area for the government to conduct its reform is human trafficking. And lately, Thailand still on tier 3 of human trafficking on the TIP report or trafficking in prison. What would be your comment?
You know, I think, again, we come back to perception. So often, many of these things are perceived the way the media has conveyed them. And I think, for me, the very first step in correcting a difficult situation is recognition. I think the government has clearly recognized the challenges and the problems that we face in Thailand. But it's not different than what's being faced in Africa or being faced in China or Cambodia. And I believe that we are making progress. It may not be very clear sometimes to people outside, but this government, I feel, is committed. We're not in favor of human trafficking. We're doing everything we can. The government is doing everything it can to try to reduce this and make it Thailand one of the best countries within ASEAN, and because it's recognized and the problems are recognized. So, you know, there's always going to be these sort of challenges, but I feel that we have a good roadmap, and we just have to keep on and not disregard the steps that we've taken already, and just keep moving forward and keep improving the situation.
Well, I'm thinking, you know, what is your secret of your success? But one thing for sure that I can see is your vision, your ability to see things clearly. I think this is very important, and it's the key factor for your success. Thank you very much for providing us your insightful comment. And of course, your comment is very, very beneficial for everyone who are listening to you at the moment. And of course, I am thank you for you to place your confidence and trust in Thailand. We still be with Mr. Heineke again next week. And this week, we must say thank you very much for the time, for sharing your comment, for spending time with us. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much.